Hey everyone, Kiri Romero here from the Online Fix. So today I want to talk about a handy tool to be using to help automate some tasks. And I'm talking about Zapier. So Zapier is if you like, a connector. It's a tool that allows you to take something in one app or software program and do something with it and connect it up with another program. So for example, let's have a look at what they have on their website here. You can see you could take something that has arrived in your Gmail account, and the action is when something arrives in Gmail, depending on whatever parameters you put in there, you take that attachment and you copy it into Dropbox, and then you send a message into a Slack group on a particular project, for example, and let everyone know that there's a new attachment. Another example of this might be you get a form completed via, say, Google Forms on your website, and so you get an alert via email saying, hey, someone's just completed a form, go over and see what that entry looks like. And then also at the same time, send that information and put the detail into a MailChimp list that you've set up. Likewise, if you've got a shopping cart, for example, you might like to put those people into a sequence in MailChimp, for example. So what you do is you take the details from that shopping cart, it automatically deposits it into a chosen list or automated sequence in MailChimp, and it all happens. The whole idea is that you're taking some tasks that you would otherwise have to do manually and create an automated sequence so that you don't have to think about it. And so the power of this is that once you kind of start thinking in those terms, you as a small business owner who's having to rely on yourself to do a whole lot of stuff, you're not at that point where you can hire lots of people to do this, means that you can start doing a whole lot more than what you could otherwise. So I want to show you how easy it is to set up a Zapier account. So number one, to get to Zapier, or what we're talking about here, here's the URL, zapier.com, and you just sign up with your Google account. It's free, you don't have to pay anything. They give you the first 5 zaps free, and a zap being a connection, say something from Google Drive through to MailChimp, or from your shopping cart through to your CRM, etc., etc. So you can actually play around with this and see the power of it without having to invest any kind of money in the first instance. And to set up a zap, first of all, I thought I might actually take a walk through my own account and the zaps that I've set up so that you can actually see what it looks like yourself. So just bear with me while I flip over to my Zapier account. So here we are in my account, and I'm on the home page. I'm just going to take you into Zaps so that you can see what I've got set up, so that you've got in your mind exactly how I'm using it. So here are all my Zaps set up. So the first one, this program here, is a program called Thinkific. It's where I host all of my course material. And you can see it's making an integration of some sort into MailChimp. So let me just pop into this so you can see what that looks like. Okay, here it is. So you can see you have to think about in terms of what's the initial trigger or action that is taken, and then what do you want to happen next. So it's kind of, if this happens, then this will happen next. So you see we've got course completed. So what we've got over here, we can see number 1, that's the connection to the app. And then we've got the trigger, which is course completed. So you can see when I've made a connection to Thinkific, it actually gives me options. So generally speaking, what happens is that depending on the app, it will actually have predefined actions that you can actually take as part of that integration. So for example, here you can see it allows you to set up some kind of connection or trigger based on a new order or a new enrollment or a course actually being completed or a lesson being completed, etc. So you define, like you select what it is that you want to happen, and then it will step you through actually setting up all of the specific details. So, okay, so we want you to connect to your Thinkific account, and then it will actually say, right, what about it in Thinkific? So it'll actually give you connect to your account there and then kind of say, right, which of these things do you want to connect up? So you can see these are all of the options that I've set up, right? So you select one of those, and then the next piece, once you've done that, is you test it, and then you say, right, I've got that completed. What next do you want to happen? And that will be the action. So for example, my action that I want to happen is I want you to add or update a subscriber in a MailChimp list. So the first thing that you need to do is say, define, I want it to be MailChimp, and then it'll say, what's the action here? So you can see, again, just like Thinkific, it will actually give you lots of options around what could I do in MailChimp. So for example, I could be adding or updating a subscriber. I could be creating a new campaign, sending a campaign, like the options just go on because there's lots of things that you could be doing. And then the next piece will be, okay, so let's connect up and make sure that we've got the right account with MailChimp. So you test that, and then edit template is actually what needs to happen here. So we're going through and saying, okay, what's the list that I've got set up over in MailChimp, and then what has to happen over here in terms of all of the specific details you want to bring across, and then you test it. And honestly, that is how easy it is to set up a Zap in Zapier. So let me just, so now you've kind of got the general gist of how that happens. You can see I've got a number of Zaps from Thinkific to MailChimp happening here. I've also got one here when a entry into a particular Google Sheet is made. So that's when a form is completed on my website. I want them to send me an update about the fact that someone has entered some details into that spreadsheet or into a form on my website, etc., etc. So just let me come back to home. I want you to understand how many options and how much you can be doing here, how flexible this allows you to be. So here under Explore, it literally tells you all of these items here. All of these are apps or third-party services or service providers that have a Zapier capability. Like you can go in and say, if you're using this, then take these actions and do something to something else. So for example, you know, if you're doing something on YouTube, or if you're making some notes on Evernote, you might like decide that you want to make a connection up to, say, a project management tool like Asana and create to-do items in there. Or you might say, here's Woofu, these are forms. So every time someone completes a form, we want them to deposit into HubSpot, the CRM. It just goes on. So you can see there's forms and there's WordPress integrations, there's scheduling tools there, shopping carts and website platforms just like WordPress. What else have we got in here? Like literally you can see how long is that list and what are the possibilities of things that you could be doing. So if the app is listed here, that means that you can create this connection between two completely different applications, no coding required at all. How great is that? And when you start to think about what you're currently doing and what aren't you doing but could be doing, doesn't it just kind of ring your bell a little bit? And anyway, I really hope that that's been helpful. I hope that it's fired a couple of ideas for you to do things better for your own business. And as always, if you have any questions whatsoever, pop across to my Facebook group and post your question there. I'm always happy to help. Okay, enough for now. Speak to you soon. Bye.